Hey everybody, Chief Meteorologist Brad Petovich here. Well, it's been a really quiet spring for severe weather. That might change a little bit on Tuesday as we have at least a low to medium risk for some strong storms. And I'll show you what's going on here. We've got some bad satellite data. But what's interesting, looking at the map today, you can see a couple of things. We've got this backdoor front here, which means the winds are coming from the northeast today. And this front's going to kind of meander back to the north overnight and tomorrow, kind of as a warm front, and kind of get draped across the area like this. So we're going to see a disturbance form over the Ohio Valley and try to ride along the front tomorrow, possibly bringing some stronger storms to the area. I wanted to show you quickly the surface temperatures because it's really nice out there actually right now. Many temperatures are in the 60s and 70s, but probably more importantly, the dew points are in the 50s. So pretty dry air in place, and that tells you where that front is down to the south. That's kind of the leading edge of the more moist air, if you will. That moisture traveling back to the north will be what's going to produce some of the severe weather tomorrow. I'll show you the dew points quickly, and that surge in moisture is going to bring us the risk for some strong storms during the day tomorrow. So let's quickly look at the severe weather outlook for today. We'll quickly pop it up here. Let me turn off the temperatures and dew points there. So you see that low risk along the front, but watch what happens tomorrow. That risk kind of expands to the east, and you see a pretty big area. I'll turn the satellite off here. For tomorrow, we're kind of in that low risk, but there's this medium risk up here in parts of the Tennessee Plateau, Cumberland Plateau area, up into southern Tennessee, or southern, Kentucky, into eastern Tennessee, southwest Virginia, and the North Carolina mountains. What is likely going to happen is we are going to see storms probably form up in this area, then try to travel southeast along what is going to be a stationary front tomorrow. Real quickly, we'll look at day 3, and you see that risk kind of goes back out to the west. So let's get in and focus on the Futurecast for what's going to happen tomorrow. All right, so let's recap. Here's the severe weather outlook for tomorrow. So this is the area we're watching in the yellow and the orange. That's the low to medium risk. I will turn that off and we'll go into the future with our Futurecast. Today, I could see a few storms form on the eastern facing slopes of the mountains. We'll go into tonight, maybe a few showers and storms around, but it's tomorrow during the day. And what we're going to be watching is what's happening upstream. And what I mean by upstream, the flow of air along this front is coming in this direction. So we're going to look up here, upstream, which is the flow heading towards the Carolinas. So we'll go into tonight. You see the storms lingering. See that big complex of storms across the Ohio Valley. And then tomorrow, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, let's put the severe weather outlook back up. You see that risk? 2 little clusters of storms. So this is what we're going to be watching. Now what happens is when you get a stalled front like this and storms form on it, remember the winds are coming like this on one side of the front and they're coming like this on the other side. So along the front, you can get some wind shear, some rotation to occur in some of those storms. And you can see those cells pushing out of the mountains 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon into the evening hours. That's a pretty nasty line of storms. 3, 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, moving across the area. Right now, this primarily looks like it's going to be straight line winds, but there is a chance, especially up here closer to wherever the front is, there could be some what we call enhanced helicity, which would increase the rotational chances. And you see tomorrow night, then the second line moves through, after 10 p.m. So there could be a couple waves of storms that move through. I'll loop this whole thing. This is a 48-hour loop showing the waves of storms moving in. So potential is there that there could be some nasty cells in this line. So let's look at some of the other parameters, the helicity, the rotation tracks, to kind of show you what we're seeing line up with this. We'll look at first the significant tornado parameter. We'll go through tonight into tomorrow. I got to pick the run I want to look at right here. There we go. There we go. So you can see a little bit better there. So we'll go through time. You can see not much tonight. We'll go into tomorrow afternoon. You can see, not off the charts. The significant tornado parameter is not all that bad. So while yes, there could be some rotation in those, I think our primary concern is going to end up being straight line winds with a lot of these. Let's look at the updraft helicity. We'll look at the run max. I always like to look at this to kind of see where we have rotating updrafts. Remember, rotating updrafts can produce tornadoes, but in general, it's about severe weather. Rotating updrafts are usually going to produce supercells. So you can see a couple, especially north, up through Kentucky, West Virginia, and parts of Virginia, but a couple down here. So again, overarching rule here is that we're probably going to see straight line winds. And you can see the way these are lined up on the future radar, you almost have like Boeing echoes or lines. That typically means straight line winds as they push in from the northwest. So if I had to pick the biggest risk right now, it certainly would be straight line winds. And again, we'll pop up the severe weather risk tomorrow. That's the categorical. We'll look at the probability of tornadoes. That's the 2% prob right now. Could increase to 5, but it's more up to the northwest. Let's look at the probability of hail, around 10%. Probability of wind, again, around 10 to 15%. So you're seeing that the tornado threat overall, not a significant tornado threat, not significant hail, and no significant wind. So to me, this is going to be about straight line winds tomorrow as these storms form. But again, remember, in severe thunderstorms, you can get tornadoes to spin up. I would primarily be concerned about straight line winds tomorrow. Of course, I'll be keeping an eye on it today. We'll have coverage at 4, 5, 6, and 11, and we'll have you covered tomorrow as severe weather primarily affects the mountains, but down into the Piedmont as we get late into the afternoon on your Tuesday.